Hi, this is Pam Holt. It's Thursday, and this is Tales Live, brought to you by Inside B&B. Today, I'm really excited. I have Lace Hernandez, who's just going to join us. She's with Mint STR Hosting, and I'm going to bring her in now. She's going to tell us all about her business. She works with hosts, and she does copywriting. She does social media strategy and management, and she's going to tell us everything we need to know about improving our marketing and improving our revenue and bookings through social media marketing. One moment, here she comes. I know she's in there. Hi. Hi. Hi, Lace.
Hello.
How are you?
Good and you. Nice meeting you.
Good. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on. I'm really excited to hear about your business.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been looking for someone like you because obviously I'm on Instagram, and so are most of the hosts.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure anyone really knows what we're doing. I think that some people do it better than other people, but we could all use tips on how to improve our Instagram profiles, our posts, our stories, when we should post, when we're posting too much,
Yeah.
all of the above. And so I'd like to bring you on and hear about your business and how you got started.
Yeah, so I've been obsessed with Airbnbs and short-term rentals in general for a while, and I want
Okay.
to have mine. I'm working on having mine right now. And
Okay.
before I started mine, I wanted to learn about it, how to do it right. So I started
Good.
just scrolling on Airbnb and looking at courses and just saw so many people that had great properties, but not didn't necessarily showcase them in the best
Yes.
way.
Right.
So I figured like that I could use this time to help them, and at the same time I'll be learning about it. And it turned out to be this business. I decided to start learning about it, teaching others how to showcase their properties the best way. I started with a different idea in mind, more
Okay.
of a short-term rental management, but
Okay.
I was on the side also taking classes about social media, and I realized, well, that they'll be a perfect match. There are so many people that have their Airbnbs on social media, yet they are not using it to the best of they're not using it as much as they should.
They're not
So,
using it as much, and I don't think they're using all of the different aspects of the
exactly.
various
I saw so many
platforms.
that just shared pictures, but didn't really say anything about their property, or were not like telling us the experience in their
Right.
profile. So,
Right. I
yeah.
think we struggle with our captions and what to say and what not to say. And I think we struggle with the schedule and how to fit it into our schedules while we're
Hmm.
hosting. And I think we struggle with the aesthetics, and sometimes that's intimidating for people. So why don't we start at the beginning and you tell us about your services, and
Yeah.
then we'll move on.
Okay, so I offer Instagram audits and the Airbnb site listing audits because first, starting with the Airbnb listing, many people have great pictures taken by a photographer. That's
Hmm.
great, but that's only your first presentation card, and then people will go on the description and read about it. And
Right.
if you don't have a good copywriting there that convinces the people that that's the right place to stay, or if you're not describing the property, how it feels, how you would see it once you enter,
The
then you're
story.
missing out. Yes, that's what
Yes.
that's what people that's what makes people like convince themselves to this is the right place for me.
Right. They have to see themselves. They have to relate somehow to your story. They have to
Yes,
want to know more, and you've got to get all that in your caption.
exactly.
I
So
agree.
on the site listing, they just describe the property, but not really convince people. So that's one of the things I offer. It's an
Okay.
audit, and I will tell you how to improve it. The second thing
Okay.
that I offer is the Instagram audit, and I will go into your Instagram and check out on all of those things: consistency, your Instagram feed, how it looks, if you're
Okay.
using hashtags that works for you, if you're using the right captions. And then I do the
Okay.
audit, I send you the report, and we have a 30-minute call to discuss your action plan. But this is
Okay.
for the do-it-yourselfers. This is for people that rather just pay for the audit and do it themselves.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
other service I offer is social media management. I have two packages there. One
Okay.
is for me to create your content because I know hosts are super busy and they have to host. They probably have a full-time job. They have a family to take care of. And, if we're going to be spending time on Instagram, we might do it right, correct?
Well, it's tough. It's tough to fit it all in, especially if you're
Exactly.
struggling with content and you're sitting there for half an hour trying to think of something to
Exactly.
say, but then you have to say it again, the next day
Exactly.
or the day after that, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it takes time and it takes a lot of effort. So that's why I'm here. I do it for you. I create the
So do you
content.
take over the account completely, or
I
how
take
how
over
does
the
that work?
account. So I have two options. I have the content creation, so I can create the content and give it to you, captions, and the order set for you. Or I can take over the account and then manage the content and also the engagement. Engagement is a huge part of growing your audience because
Okay.
engagement is like you have to be there, liking, commenting, and reaching out to other people, which is what usually takes more time.
So you're not only just going in and responding to people who might comment on, say, my account, but you're also going through
I'm
and
going out
looking.
and commenting and liking on what our the ideal clients are, which is
Wow.
something we have to specify at the beginning. It's very critical.
Okay.
And then it's a way of just getting people to know you and know that you exist because there's no other way for them to get, for you to be discovered on Instagram if you're not out there reaching out to people and connecting with others.
Okay.
So that's part of
So
the
so are
services.
you largely working in the posts and the feed, or are you working on the stories as well, or do you
I
help
offer
them if they
stories as well. So my packages include stories and feed posts. So I
in one
cover
package, or are
everything and
those
make sure
two?
that you're both packages include the story and the feed because we
Okay,
have to be
great.
everywhere.
Right, that's
Yeah,
part of the
being in the
problem.
stories
You have to
is
be
very
everywhere.
critical. Yes.
And so then does that go on to Facebook? Do you then forward it to Facebook? Do you
So
suggest
yes,
that?
there are accounts that are linked to Facebook and they post on Facebook, but it will post what I post on Instagram. So I'm just
Okay.
focusing on Instagram and it will share whatever I post on Instagram on Facebook.
Okay.
So it's
So do
another
you
way to get to that community that is only on Facebook.
Okay, so between Instagram and Facebook, do you find Instagram to be the place where hosts should spend most of their time?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Instagram is it's way easier to search, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but me and I would say my generation, but most of my friends, we do our search on Instagram. Like if we want
Hmm.
to travel somewhere, we just go on Instagram and find places, and
Yeah,
that's where we
yeah,
want to stay. Which is
I
why it's
think you're
very
right.
important to be on Instagram for the Airbnbs. So that it is way easier to use Airbnb as a search engine, kind of, even as it is a social media, but I use it as a search engine. Facebook and
Right, right,
invited.
right. Okay,
Well, in Instagram, look for location or hashtags, and they will find you.
okay. So what do you tell hosts? What kinds of topics should hosts be posting about? What do you suggest?
So it will depend on what's their strategy and what are their ideal clients, who they want
Okay,
to reach out to. But I recommend to have content pillars. You have to decide what three things you want to be sharing on your Instagram.
okay,
One is usually what I recommend is talk about your amenities. What do you offer that others are not
okay,
offering, or things that are unique to you?
okay.
And
So
even if
that's
they're
one.
not unique, it's one of your amenities. The second one is the guest experience,
Okay,
and it is how the guests will feel when they are at your place, or even guest reviews that you have previously received. That's a way
okay,
you also need to be sharing that. Even it doesn't matter if it's in the stories or the feeds, but people that go and look for your property, they want to see those positive reviews there.
okay,
And the third one is location.
okay.
People see your pictures and they see like, oh, this is pretty. But what also convinced them is to know what they could do around the area.
While they're there. Okay,
If there's
so
a lake close by that they can kayak, maybe that's something that will attract them and convince them to stay there.
okay, so three kind of buckets for
Yes.
content. Okay.
And you can organize your content based on those three things. Make sure that every week you're touching on those three things and it will help you reach out other people, and it will help you tell the whole story.
Okay. So when you're working for someone and you're reaching out to other folks to get them to follow the account, are you reaching out? Are you trying to find travelers or potential guests? Are you looking for other
Yes.
hosts, or
So
who are you looking for?
I look for potential guests and for local community. So I
Okay.
try to reach out to local restaurants, so they are
Okay.
on the know that I'm around there, and also to make connections. Because sometimes there's something I recommend is for hosts to reach out to local community, local shops, and you can collaborate. This is just to give an
Like what?
idea. If I recommend your restaurant to my hosts, to my guests, we can either collaborate in either a discount for me or just things that you can negotiate, because that's a way of both of you getting some benefits out of that.
Benefit.
So I
Nice.
recommend
Okay.
that, but also, yeah, you have to define who you want to attract on your Airbnb, and then use the hashtags to reach out to people that are ideal for you, and then start liking, commenting, so they know that you exist and that you're an option for them. And the
Okay.
effect might
So
not be very fast, like they're not going to see you and book right away, but they know you start creating that I don't know, knowledge, or that you exist
yes, you start to get in their mind. So
in their
when
minds. Exactly.
right now, not many people are traveling many places anyway, but
Exactly.
you get on their list of places to consider once we
Hmm.
open up and fully start to travel again.
Exactly. And for this time that we're living, I'm recently working with one of my clients, and I reach out to local guests or prospective guests, only
Okay.
to those that are around the area that can go driving distance, because people are not traveling by airplane. So my
Right.
focus right now is to try to attract those that are at a driving distance.
So how do you find guests? I mean, what kind of hashtag would you? Clearly, you have to know who your ideal guest
Exactly.
is. But are you doing like, whatever, hashtag, women travelers, or is it
So
more
that is
narrow
very
than that? Or,
broad. Yeah,
yes.
you have to be
Okay.
more narrow. And for
Okay.
example, one of my clients right now, she's very close to a hiking
Mm-hmm.
area. She's located around a lot of hikings and lakes. So I look for hashtags related to hiking and lakes in her area, and start
Okay.
reaching out to people that would enjoy that. And make sure that in my captions I include things like, you can work from here. We have awesome Wi-Fi, change environments during the pandemic. That those things that will tell them, oh, that's right, I can take a staycation and just go maybe an hour away, but it's a change in
Nice.
my environment. Is a vacation.
Right, which everybody needs right now, I'm sure.
Exactly.
So, what's your ideal client to work with then? Who are you looking to work with?
Work with VRBO is the same thing in Instagram.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to help is those that have a full-time job, have multiple Airbnbs, have a
Mm,
family. I have a lot of women that are following me, because they're
not there.
doing everything, and besides having all those responsibilities, taking time for Instagram is a lot, and they have to learn about Instagram. It's not just sharing. So
Okay.
that is the people I really want to help.
So, are you looking for people who have established accounts, or do you want to start from scratch
I
with
have
them,
both.
or
So I have just started one from scratch, and it's a whole different thing, because we're starting from scratch. We need to create content. We need to attract those people. But I've also had the experience of working with people who have an established account already and have content, but they're not getting the right people, or they're not getting that much engagement. So now it's me
okay?
working on trying to get people to like and comment and get that interaction going.
Okay, so talk more about the engagement. What kind of posts do you find draw the most engagement?
So it is when you share a picture that have some lifestyle going on, not just a plain picture of the area. You see these photographs that are good for realtors, because they have the picture like very
Yes,
clean, and
yes, yes,
okay,
yes,
those
yes,
get some likes because the picture is
yes.
pretty. But when you
If
have
you have
like
a
a,
fantastic view, or if you have postcard, scenery,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But when you have a photo by the fireplace with a cup of coffee or hot chocolate, and it's like people living it, and you see the experience and you can relate to that, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be sitting there if I stay there. That's exactly what I want to do. Sit by the fire pit or the fireplace and just enjoy my coffee and read a book. So those pictures usually have a way more interaction, way more engagement, because it's
Okay.
what people would like to see.
Okay. Well, I tell people all the time that a real estate photo is very different from something that you would use on Instagram for the same reasons that you're saying.
Exactly.
It's about that space. It's usually very it's almost antiseptic in its cleanliness. It's
Mm-hmm.
very unnatural. There's nothing out
Exactly.
of place. It's half of the things that are in that room have been removed so that the photo looks better. But
Exactly.
when you're doing something that you're trying to engage with people, you want to show, you want people to think, I want to be the person who has their
Exactly.
feet up on that couch with that coffee and that shawl on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and what are some tips that you could give hosts that are working on their own Instagram right now?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what could you tell them? Three things you could tell them they could do today to improve their engagement.
Yeah. So first thing I always tell my clients, and it's something I learned recently when I started to get like very serious about my business, and it's about defining your ideal client. You cannot
Yes,
market to everyone as
and you
much.
shouldn't.
Exactly. As if you get very specific with what you want, you'll be way more successful because you're going to reach exactly people who will be attracted to your rental and who want to stay there. So first
Right.
thing, define your ideal client. Make sure that you have that well defined, and then based on that, number two is to define create your strategy. How do you want to reach out to them? What hashtags are you going to be using? And you have to research a little bit about your ideal client. Where do they hang out? What things
Mm-hmm.
do they usually look for, and what hashtags they use, and then use
Mm.
those so when they go and search on their hashtags, they see you. So the
Got
second one
it.
is create your strategy, including hashtags, including your captions, and including the amount of posts that you're going to be sharing, and
Okay.
how many posts you're going to be sharing per week. And
And how
I
many
always
how many do you
recommend,
recommend?
so I usually post 3 times a week, and that
Okay.
has worked perfectly for me.
Okay.
Some people post every day. I feel like that's too much for me, posting
It's a
7 days
lot.
and 5 days. So I recommend 3 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
That works perfectly fine.
Does that include stories or is that in the
Stories, you
feed?
should be there every day.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be in the stories every day, and then that's why it balances out with the 3 posts a week, because you share three posts a week, but then you're on your stories every day. And stories, you can
So
be
go ahead. I'm
very
sorry.
people think that they have to have like a very structured thing for their stories. You can show up as you are. People want to connect with you. People want to see you. Want to see who's decorating your rental, and you're gonna be buying some stuff. So share it with us, and
Okay.
that's something that should be on your stories.
Oh my goodness, that's hard for
Yeah,
us that are introverts that just can
I know.
barely even
I am
be
an
on
introvert,
camera.
and I hate being on lives and on stories, but I'm doing it. It
So,
gets
so you
easier.
just,
It gets easier.
I've been doing it for a little over a month now. I can't say it's gotten easier, but I show
I'm
up.
getting better.
So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so you're saying show up live in your stories?
On
Is
your
that
story,
the
not doing a live as we are, but just sharing videos on your stories.
sharing video as though
Videos.
you were live? Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so not canned kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right, we'll try that.
And then I have the
And
third one. I don't know if
yes,
you had any other questions, but the third one
no,
is
the third one.
we talked about this already, but you cannot just share pictures. You need to tell a story. You need to tell a story of how they're going to be feeling when they get to your place, how cozy it is, and share pictures of that. People enjoying your coziness, or just the little corner, that seat in the corner with a throw in it, not looking perfect, but looking as real
Lived in.
life.
Yeah, yeah,
That makes
yeah.
a huge difference. Yeah.
Do you suggest that people repost other people's posts?
In the feed,
Hmm.
or from the guest, you're saying, if you have
No,
company.
well, if you have guest content, that would be great.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a lot
that's
of help.
something we should
Hmm.
talk about because that would be really nice to have a guest send you a photo of their experience
Hmm.
or have them do a video of how much they enjoyed and post that.
Exactly.
That's very compelling. But I meant just from another source. Just repost. I haven't done it a lot. I've created original content, but it's a little exhausting. And I see
Yeah.
that a lot of people, repost and comment on that post. Is that something you suggest, or?
So if you have original content from your property, I recommend just using that. But
Mhm.
I mean, you can, if you are getting tired or not tired, you can't just go to the property and take more pictures. You can
Mhm.
always add graphics and just pictures
Okay.
of, for example, if you have a property by the beach, there are a lot of beautiful pictures about the beach. What I do is I look for photographers in the area that have
Oh,
pictures
that's good.
of the scenery and of places around it. And of course, I first ask for permission, but then share it on my account and give credit to them. But it's a way of
Yes.
introducing other
Oh,
pictures and
that's a
not
great
having
idea.
fatigue of me just I made pictures, I made pictures. There are
Yeah.
other sources. So long as you give them credit, you're
No,
good.
that's great. I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah, and it
Good.
helps with the content creation and keeping it consistent. If you are not able to go and take pictures because many people have properties far away, they cannot just drive there. So
Or
that's
like I had a long-term guest. I really wanted to put new pictures up, but I can't get into the
and let me
place.
tell you, you can reuse your pictures. This is for all hosts, and this is something that everyone does. You see, if you look at influencers, scroll down and you'll
Hmm.
see they'll
The
be
same picture.
repeating pictures over and over again, and this is not bad because you have new users all the time. You have new people coming in, and not everyone sees your pictures or your posts.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they'll
Don't
not
feel bad
notice.
about that.
They won't notice that it's the same
Okay.
picture you posted 4 months ago
Okay.
because they won't remember.
A
So
good
if you're
idea.
getting out of like if you don't have any more content, scroll down. You have content there. Just reshare it. It's common practice in
Okay.
all of the influencers and all.
What do you say to people about their overall aesthetic? What should I see
I
your
recommend.
feed? Your feed is gorgeous,
Thank you.
and it looks to me like you restrain your color palette,
Yes, that's the first thing.
right?
So
And
once you define, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Tell us what you've done.
Once you define your brand, part of defining your brand is choosing your colors, and you should stick to three. I'm not a brand expert. This is from what I've learned, but you should have 3 to 4 colors and stick to those. So in every post, make sure that you use one of those colors so that your content will look aesthetic. It will look all within the same palette, and
Right.
it's easier for properties because your decoration will be
That's your
uh,
palette. It could be your
exactly.
palette.
Your
Hmm.
decoration is what will determine your palette. And it's not a thing that you can't change over time. Like once you change your decoration for fall, for example, now you change a little bit of your palette, but you introduce it little by little so the whole aesthetic won't go away.
Right. So it doesn't look like a totally different new
Exactly.
account. Okay. What else do you do with your aesthetic? Because I see that yours, sometimes you have sayings or quotes.
Yes.
Do you recommend
So
that
those,
for people?
yes, it's one of the things I recommend to like mix and match content there, introduce new content and not have fatigue of taking pictures. So I
Right.
use Canva, which is an
Hmm.
app that's super
Hmm.
helpful, and I create the quotes there using
Okay.
my fonts and using my colors. So Canva is a super super nice tool to use.
Yes. They
And
have a free
if you go
account.
to my link, if you go to my bio, there's a link there, and you have a link for a free trial of Canva Pro,
Oh, nice.
which
Nice.
has a lot of good features.
Nice. Okay. So you've got your sayings and quotes. You have your brand colors. Do you vary the content in the photos? Like, do you put a bedroom right next to a bedroom? Is that okay, or should I
No,
have the
I
close
don't.
up next to a bedroom, or
Yeah,
how should
so
that go?
something that helps a lot is using a scheduler app like
Okay.
Plan or Later or
Mm-hmm.
Planoly that you
Mm-hmm.
can arrange and play with your photos and see what looks good. And I do
Mm-hmm.
that. If I have a close up, then the next picture I would like to be like from far away. If I
Yes.
have a bedroom, I try to not have a bedroom in the next line, just to have variety, and it helps look good in the aesthetic,
It does. It helps the eye move
like to
through
balance it out.
the account, but yes, but not get too
Exactly.
cluttered in one area, which the eye
Hmm.
doesn't like, and we'll move on to something else if that's what you have.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that you plan out with people? You plan their accounts into the
Yes,
future?
I use Plan and Later to plan their content and see what looks better, organize
Okay.
it so that the whole feed will look good.
Okay.
And that's
And
part
then
of the
do they
content
approve
creation.
it? Or you
Yes,
just
before
go,
I
okay.
post anything, I send for approval and they review the captions. If they need to change anything, they'll let me know. And
Oh,
then once it's good, I'll start posting
fantastic.
for them.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss any of your pricing or is that on a per client kind of
No,
situation?
so yeah, I have my pricing set right now. Um, it is I work with social media management for a contract of 3 months,
Okay.
and each month it would be depending on what package you choose. The first package of just creating content, it is $187 per month, and
Okay.
this is me creating the content for you. I won't
And
be
then me
engaging
posting
in
it.
your property. You
Okay. So
posting
I
it, yes.
post it and I engage and I do.
Or
Yeah.
I can post it for you, but I won't be doing any of the engagement because that's what takes most of the time. But
Right.
I really
Right.
recommend the second package, which is the same thing, just adding the engagement.
Yes.
And this is really what makes a huge difference. If you want, that depends on the host, right? If they have time to be on the Instagram, but they're not just crafty with their photos or their captions and their hashtags, then I can help them with the first package. But then if they just don't have time to be on Instagram all day trying to find people and prospective
Right.
guests, then that's where I come in with the second package that is 287 per month.
Okay.
And
Fantastic.
I will be doing the engagement and commenting and liking.
Okay. What about the audits?
The audits are $47. I will do the whole report and we'll have the 30-minute call to discuss the actions.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So is that where you should start if you're someone coming new to your services? Should they start with an audit?
Yes, absolutely. If this is something they think they can work on, then the audit will be perfect. Of course, if they then decide that they'll need help, then I have the other
They should go into the
packages.
packages.
Exactly. But the audits is
Fantastic.
a very I think it's a great step for you to realize how good is my Instagram. If I'm doing a good job and I just need some little tweaks, then for $47 and we'll fix it and it will make a huge difference in your
No,
in your account.
that's a huge quality investment for $47. I
Yep.
would suggest that everybody do that. Just to, even if you think you're doing well, just to have someone else critically look at your account and make sure you're on the right track. I think that's
Exactly.
well worth it. Plus, that's tax deductible, so write that off as one of your expenses. So I want to thank you today. I'm out of time, but this has been great.
Yes, and I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I'm really hoping to educate hosts, women hosts, and bring a supportive kind of situation for us all so that we can help one another because why not? And I'm hoping that we can work together and do some
Yes.
collaborations and bring it to everybody who's joined us today.
Yeah.
So, where can you be found? Where can people find you?
Well, here on Instagram is where I hang out the most. Mint SDR
Okay.
Hosting, and I have my website. It's mintsdrhosting.com. I just
Okay.
launched it, and I still have some
It's
little work to
gorgeous.
do, but
Oh, no, it's gorgeous. I love it. It's very
yeah,
nice. And what's your handle on Instagram?
Mint SDR Hosting.
Okay. And
And
for anybody who
SDR,
doesn't know,
so
yes. Okay.
SDR, yeah, I've been asked a lot about SDR. SDR is
Yes.
short-term rental. It's
Yes.
short
Yes.
for life.
So, yes, STR, short-term rental. So, but if you have a vacation rental, short-term rental, that it's the same kind of thing, depending on where
Yeah.
you're located. So, thank you again for today. I want to thank everybody
Thank you
who's
so much.
joined us. We're going to be here again next week, and I'll bring you another guest, and hopefully, she'll also be
Looking
as
forward to
informative as
that.
you have been. Yeah, thank you. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lex. Bye-bye.